All right, we move over to Chuck Crosby. So about, I wouldn't say a year ago, David, one of our listeners, wrote in. He had hired a remodeler. And folks, if you're thinking of doing remodeling work, you really do need to pay attention to this. The remodeler came in, gave David an estimate of some $50,000 or more to do the job of remodeling this house. And David cut him a check for $50,000. He left with the check, never returned. David has hired an attorney trying to track down the so-called remodeler, but no luck. And so his first thing is, Chuck, any other suggestions on what he can do?
If you can't find the guy, there's not much you can do at all. Except next time, don't give them the entire fee up front. That would be a pretty anyhow, it just stuns me. But anyhow, until you can track him down, there really is no thing you can do. Now, about tracking him down, I don't know what attorney he got to try and find him, but generally there are such things as private investigators, and stealing $50,000 like that, last time I checked, was still a crime. I'd get the cops on it and see if they don't have some ways of tracking them down. But until you can find them, there's not anything you can do.
Yeah, the worst part about this, the attorney that he hired, we won't use names, apparently said for a flat fee, or at first he said, well, just take a portion of the response or the return. But then when they didn't run into any luck in getting a hold of the guy, they started charging David an hourly fee. So he was wondering, when is it a lost cause? When should he just stop the hourly fee? It sounds like you've already answered that with the
I mean, I don't know why you only go to a lawyer on that. Yeah, it's a civil crime. Yeah, he took or a civil tort. He did take money, breach of contract. Yeah, all that's there. You can sue him for that, but it's a crime. That's $50K somebody just stole. So yeah, I'd call the cops.
And so, listen, folks, if you're going to have some remodeling work done, here's some suggestions. First, check with the Better Business Bureau. See if there are any complaints against that person. Easy to get to on a website, on their Better Business Bureau. Just do a Google search. Second, ask for references, and not just one or two. Ask for 10, and then start calling them.
Yeah, actually call the references. I can't tell you how many people don't call.
Yeah, that is so important. And then, Chuck, what would a 25% as a good faith to start things off, or is that too much already?
Well, that sounds a little bit much. I don't generally deal in that area, but I don't know anybody that works for more than a third at a time. I mean, you do a third, you finish it, you do a third, you finish it, and go on from there. Go ahead.
That's the reason you want to get more than one reference and interview all of your references, because then you have a pinpoint to go against and say, okay, well, this person's generally down payment here. This person's here. Oh, this guy's way too high. There might be something wrong here. And you get the law of averages that will actually help you make your decision and be confident, right?
Yeah. Very true.
I was going to say, the last time I did it, the builder didn't ask for any money till he was done. So
that would be the perfect way to do it then, obviously.
Yeah.
But sometimes they need money for materials ahead of
material ahead of time. Yeah.
So that we get. But that's
right. But Chuck makes a good point. I mean, let's say, for instance, here in Norton Commons, when you're looking at builders to work with, different builders are going to require different lot deposits based off of different circumstances, based off of the project size. Some builders are big enough and have enough capital where they're going to say, oh, it's a good project I can take on. You see my work. You want this, write this contract. I'll take it on me. Or the buyer will buy the whole lot. It just depends on the situation. But if you're doing your due diligence and you're interviewing multiple people, it doesn't seem to happen when you're doing your due diligence. You don't seem to get got as much when you are interviewing multiple people and getting references and hearing stories. And once you start to go down that rabbit hole, you should be able to find the information you need.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, David, that you had to go through this, but I think if nothing else, let's use that as a lesson for everybody else to remember. If you want to sign up for our newest newsletter, just so you know, this week's topic is why get a home inspection as a seller. So before you list, we have information there. You go to welovelouisville.com. That's welovelouisville.com.